I want to ask everybody in the chat real quick, how many people have been able to get through the Book of Burnett now? Because I know a lot of y'all tagged us saying that you got your book, so I'm curious who's
Hmm.
been able to get through some of it. We're going to be talking about chapters 17 and 37 today, Miss Netta.
Yeah, I think those are good. I was feeling those type of things this morning.
I wanted to, that was one of the questions I was jotting down whenever I first had hit start. I wanted to know what made you want to highlight those two chapters.
I think two things that has been kind of brewing in my thoughts this week is chapter 37, Charity Begins at Home and Spreads Abroad. Because I think a lot of people don't. Can you hear me okay? I hear a vibration.
No, I can hear
You
you perfectly.
can hear me okay? Okay, good. I think a lot of people um pour out of their empty cup, their
Mm,
undercup, and a lot of times you talk about, and when you do the readings, it's about, we give out of our overflow. And 37 is, to me, is about that overflow, that charity begins at home and spreads abroad, that you start within yourself. And then what's flowing out of that, you extend to the people nearest you, and then the onion circles as they go out. So many people try to give what they don't have.
mm,
That's is exhausting, and it wears you down. And really, I don't think we can give what we don't have. We may be giving a form of it, a pseudo of it, what we think it is, but it's not the real thing. So that was one thing for 37. And for 17, prepare for war in a time of peace. Um, really doesn't have anything to do with what's happening in Iran and with Russia and Ukraine and all that stuff going on, but it is um, preparing yourself to expand, to move, doing things today that kind of set you up for either what you want in the future or what you might experience in the future. So it's not about fear, but it's about being conscious of what you're doing now that you're sowing for tomorrow,
mm.
and whatever that might bring your way, you know. Yeah.
That makes me think about, just this idea of doing a little bit every day to get to that bigger picture. Um,
Hmm.
and there's like this planner that I use, and it'll ask me at the end of the day, did I do something today to set myself up for future for tomorrow? And that kind of
Hmm.
made me think about that when you said it. Okay.
Mhm. Yep, yep. My daughter, she's a junior in her psych program right now, and she's so focused on, going to get her master's and get her PhD. That's all she wants to do, get her PhD, want to get a PhD. I'm like, that's fine, that's cool, that's what you want, but do things now that align with that, or that give you the options, your best options to get that. Whatever you have in your power to do today,
Mhm.
have that goal in mind as you do that. So, how you're performing in your classes, the relationships you build in school. Think about how they relate to your getting to the program you want and getting your PhD. Don't
Mhm.
wait till it's time for you to apply for your PhD program to think about getting a PhD,
Yeah.
you know.
I feel like people that do go that route, they've had that plan since they was little. Which was your daughter like that growing up? She was always big on her education.
She was big on helping people. So
Mm.
she always talked about being a MD. When she
Okay.
was like 5, she was gonna be a doctor, and she loved going to the doctor, and she didn't care if they had needles or whatever. She was all about being a doctor. But some kind of way that part fell away. I don't know if she got into the, "Oh, I don't like blood," type of a thing. I'm not sure, but she has that kind of same zeal toward helping people, and I think getting her PhD And psychology is, one way she thinks she can do that. And she's doing that now. I would encourage her to do, a social platform to do that now. So you don't have to have those credentials to help people think through their things. She does that with her friends. She's very careful about what information she shares, and she likes to check me on whatever I might say about people. Like, what do you really think? That's what they're thinking. Well, you can do that now, particularly with people
Yeah.
behind you, younger people who are 15, and 12, give them a space to kind of share and you guys kind of hash it out.
Yeah.
But she hadn't felt that. So I'm like, hey, do you figure it out?
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Um, I do have a few questions for everybody in the chat that has maybe already started reading the book. So I want to ask y'all this question to give you time to flip through the book and put it in the chat for us, and then me and Ned are gonna keep talking. But I want to know what line, or which should we call them verses?
Verses,
Okay.
chapter and verse.
Okay. What chapter and verse stood out to you immediately? And it
Mm,
doesn't matter if you hadn't got through the whole book or not. I just am curious as to which chapter and verse aligned the most with you and kind of stood out to you immediately. I have a few of them, so for me to pick one, I couldn't pick one. But for you, Miss Netta, I want to know. I want to kind of jump back to chapter 37, and I kind of
mm-hmm,
want to ask you that question. Is there a verse from chapter 37 that really, because when we talked last 2 weeks ago, we talked about how you were an open vessel for this book. So
mm-hmm,
these aren't your words, and this is for people who are just popping in, maybe don't know about the Book of Burnett that was
mm-hmm,
as told by
mm-hmm.
Netta Faye.
Absolutely, absolutely. These are my dad's words and his thoughts. Some of them he came up with, some of them he borrowed or he were inherited from his people. But he explained them from his life. When he was teaching my brothers and I, he explained them from his own experience, from his own life, um, and what they meant to him from time when he had no money, time when he did have money, a time when things might have been coming at him hard, particularly like church people. He would say it's hard to leave people where they don't want to go. So from those experiences, he taught us about these things and kind of what they mean. So, starting with even chapter 37, I like that I know he did get this from, his parents and his the old people that people that were old when he came in and was growing up, and how so many people thought it was about money. But he learned that it was never about money. It was about how you care for yourself. So
Mm,
my favorite one of that chapter, though, is 37, chapter 37, verse 7,
mm,
that says the real test of charity begins within, where you learn to offer love to your own self along with its companions of truth, mercy, correction, compassion, and joy. When you honor your own soul first, generosity flows outward with ease, not strain. And again, that's that overflowing cup. If you don't really love yourself, you can't really love anyone else. And some people really they come at me with that, or they, snap back at that. Oh no, I love this and I love my children more than I love myself. Okay, well,
mm,
I understand your emotion about that, but you cannot love your children more than you love yourself. I would die for my children. Okay, I get that. I understand what you're saying. But a lot of that is responsibility. It could be conditions that we're supposed to do that. But you cannot give what you don't have. I learned that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, I am Jackie first and I am a mother second because I did not come
Yeah.
to this world as a mother, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna die with only that title. So I love that you say that because it's so important, and I think a lot of Black moms especially, we don't lean into that enough.
Right, right. And as a mother, your daughter needs to see Jackie, right? Outside the role of mother.
Exactly.
It teaches them a lot about respect of person,
Mhm.
because sometimes our children get caught up in the role of mother and they take that for granted. Yo, you're supposed to. Like, I'm
Right.
supposed to
Right.
forgive this what?
And they
No,
put mother has such a high value, that title. It's such a
sure.
high value title,
It
and
is
expectations are out of this world.
out
And
of this world.
sometimes not even expectations from your own kids. The world
Mhm.
puts these crazy expectations on you of what you're supposed to do because
Mhm.
you're a mother.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And, a lot of that comes with grace and good things or positivities in it, but it can be negative because
Mhm.
we turn ourselves into the superhuman, super thing, whatever, and we lose who we are. So when you lose who you are, you can't be mother, father, sister, brother,
Right.
because you're somewhere else. You can't be
Exactly.
that. Yeah. And I know we, especially Black women, Black mothers, even if you're not biological, you're serving the role of mother. We're doing a hell of a job because when anybody gets up to say anything, it's mother. Thank you, mother.
Right, that is
you
so
know,
true. I
my mother,
love that.
yeah. Yeah, yep, yep, yep. Look at Michael B. Jordan. His mother is going with him.
Yeah.
And it seems like he has a healthy relationship with his father, thank goodness. But his mother is by his side,
Right.
going
No,
with him
I
and stuff like that.
love
But she is her girl first. Like you said, she is who she is first.
Mhm.
So we have to honor that. So that's what I like about uh 37-7,
Now,
that it has to begin within.
because you have true self, I always wanna circle it back because I was talking to somebody this week, and I was telling them about you, and I was
Mm,
telling them about how you explained true self being that step past us being our most authentic self, and that just really landed and resonated with me, and I've been holding on to that all month.
mhm.
I was telling them that, and they were like, "Well, Jackie, essentially, that's kinda what you do. You help get people to recognize their true self." And I was like, "Oh, maybe that's
Mhm.
me and Netta are
Mhm.
like this."
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's why I be jamming on those readings, and I love flow hour, but the best part of flow hours is like the last 20 minutes.
I feel like that's what everybody shows up for, those
Yeah.
last 20. But
It
when I think about 37-7, um, that is essentially the recipe to get into your true self. You wanna talk
it
about that for a little bit?
it is a recipe to get into true self, that when you can love yourself and you have the truth, the mercy, correction, compassion, everything, that's a whole lot of spiritual from within. Right? You're not looking outside of yourself to engage those things. You don't have to be perfect or be wearing the design or this or have the job or the title or anything like that, because those are, again, titles. Those are designations. But to love yourself, it only can come from within,
Mhm.
and you have the companions of truth, mercy, correction, and passion and joy. That also is going to come from being okay with self-examination. You're looking at yourself and seeing what am I doing that's not these things. Or when I yelled at this person or cursed this person out, okay, I felt that, but where was that coming from? And let me check myself,
Mm,
before I wreck myself with that. And I think even sometimes when we're unconscious of it, that the traits of love, truth, mercy, correction, compassion, and joy are divine traits, either the masculine or the feminine, but they do not come from human nature. They not come from humanism.
I gotta write that down.
These
The
are divine traits. And in
oh,
true self society, my aim is just to get people to be conscious of it.
mhm.
I think we can be our true self, the divine, its authenticity with oneness with God. authenticity plus oneness with God is how I define true self. I think we can be that unconsciously. But what we will see from that, even on unconscious state, is the fruit of that, right? We will not be prone to quick anger or prone to judgment or prone to, waking up, cursing yourself out like somebody did not too long ago.
Yeah.
You will be less prone to those things. I'm
Mhm.
not saying those things won't ever happen. I'm just saying you'll be less prone to it. But when you're conscious of it, it's more directive, right? It's intentional, it's more directive. And to me, in my experience, so much lines up like the planets. It's like planetary alignment. Everything is working in order. So you wake up, I wake up on a high. I wake up feeling good. I wake up on these things. Somebody come at me, I'm like, that's you. I'm not going there.
Look, I woke up and decided I wanted to twerk over on the side of my
On
bed.
that song.
So I with you that I tell people, I'm like, sometimes on flow hour when I do the walk by the water, I'm like, y'all, you don't understand. Like when you realize that you're living in a manifestation, a past prayer, and you can really get grounded in that and
Mhm.
have that, because that's when you tap into those divine traits as you talk about.
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
you really get grounded in the fact that I prayed for this. I prayed to be right here once
Mhm.
upon a time.
Mhm.
There's no way you could wake up and have a bad day or have
Yeah.
any kind of negative emotions that's gonna stick and last
Yeah. Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
are just in the state of gratitude.
Yes. 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 And that's the advantage of the conscious part. And I feel exactly what you're saying when you post about I got up, I walked, I went to the thing, I saw the ducks, saw the geese going, I saw this, I that going. I'm loving my life. I feel that. Somebody who may not be at that level would say, they would think the material, "Oh, she's able to do what she wanna do. She can walk to the thing and buy some coffee." They're seeing the tactical part of it.
Mhm.
But what I'm feeling when I read all of that is the spiritual connection. You're walking out there oneness with all of that. And you
Exactly.
see and you see it. You notice it.
One of now that this ain't supposed to be about me today, but I just gotta share that one bird came back to see me today.
What?
Yep.
Look at that.
Right there at the same spot, and then this time it flew into my apartment complex, so it was
What?
everything. It just kept walking with me. I said, "Oh, okay." Y'all
Yeah. They're like, "I
when
see you, girl."
yeah, when you said the spiritual connection, that's exactly what it is. It is
Yeah.
connection with the divine. That's why I love that you call them divine traits. I
Yeah.
heard it used like that before, and I absolutely love that.
They are. They are. We humans love us and I'm not we are human and divine. And again, I think I shared with you guys last time about the Jacob's ladder analogy that I'm using to kind of have a maybe a more coachable way for us to get there. But
Mhm.
that ladder at the bottom is pretty much all human. At the top is all divine. And because we're in a body in this realm, at least in consciousness of the body, 100% divine, we may not feel because we're in this body. But, I also know that, like, if you're aware when you're asleep, for me, that is another outside the body experience.
Mm.
The Bible, if you came through the Christian church, you may have heard them say, absent from the body, present with the Lord. Well, for me, that doesn't just happen when you're no longer breathing, when this body is no longer animated. I think that can happen when you're asleep, when you're meditating. You can leave the body and be present with the all. And in
Yeah.
those cases, I think you can feel your 100% divinity. But
Mhm.
in expressing our godness in the earth, we can probably get very close to that because we're expressing in the earth. So we're always human and divine while we're on the earth. But I'm saying let's go up the ladder and be as much as divine as possible and express that in the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the consciousness part. It's a practice. It's
Mhm.
an awareness. It's a doing. And like again, when you are posting what you're posting about your walking and your thing, that energy is different from before you're a divorce. And I
Mhm.
understand that. You understand that. Everybody who's kind of been around you, we can understand why. But this feels so elevated.
Yeah.
It's so free of the human type things that we can get caught up in.
Mhm.
We can understand them, we can appreciate it. We don't have to be subject to so much of the humanoid, part of us. Yeah, we can operate, I believe, as close to 100% divinity as possible.
Mhm.
And even through spiritual practices, religions, and things like that, a lot of the gurus and the people there express that. To me, that's what Jesus was doing. I'm on the earth. I got a human body, but I'm expressing oneness with God. I am expressing as much of my divinity as I can in
Mhm.
human form. So
Mhm.
all the things that Jesus talked about, that's us.
Yeah.
Right. That is us. That's what we can do. We just have to practice it. We have to allow, we have to accept it, and I know a lot of us have been taught against that. God is out there. We're
Mhm.
over here. There's no connection. Even after salvation, there's really no connection.
I feel like, there's and I see y'all in the comments. Hey y'all. I I'm sorry. I hadn't been able to chat with Netta. The conversations get good. We can
Getting good.
comments in a second. But there's this term that I've been playing with, or not playing with, but I've been affirming myself that I'm an earth angel
Mm,
because of this divine connection I have, because of the way the divine shows up and it kind of communicates with me in a way. And I feel like from just when I had my spiritual practice, I feel like we all have the capacity to tap into that energy.
mm-hmm.
And kind of like what Crystal said, it is a practice. It is something that you have to intentionally practice
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, after my divorce, I could have went left.
Yeah.
I chose to go right. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To make a
Yeah.
conscious decision of
Yeah.
which path I wanted to take because
Yes.
it gets slippery either way.
Either way. Either
And
way.
that's
Exactly.
that crossroads that we have. Everybody has this point, that's kind of,
Yes.
with my publication Chronicles of Changes, because I'm constantly coming up to a crossroads. I live,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
constantly at a crossroads. And because I'm constantly there, it allows me to decide what I want to do. Do I want to experience all of the good feelings? Because either way, I don't know what's going to happen,
Yes.
but I can get excited about what's going to happen because I know from experience it's going to all work out. Or I
Yes.
could stress about it and worry about it, and then we all know what that brings.
Yes.
I feel like it's that decision.
It is. It is. And we influence that because it's not just things out there happening to us, they're happening for us and with us. So we can influence those things. Just like you said, you could have gone left, you could have gone right, you could have gone, exploded, imploded, or whatever. But because of that experience, you had some consciousness of who am I, what I want to be, what I want to experience. I
Mhm.
had the same thing coming out of my marriage. And it could have it the same way. It could have went left, it could have went right, but I had to say, wait, hold up. And like I posted this week, just because they acting a fool, don't mean I have to act a fool.
That now
Yeah, and now I'm a exit. I said to the left because of queen bee, but still, you have to exit the way that you are intending to go because we influence those things. We influence what happens to us. As the old folks would say, we reap what we sow. And the sowing is not money, which I thought was growing up in church. It's your thoughts.
Yeah.
Thoughts to me, thoughts are the currency of heaven. Because
Mm.
when you think something, and it can be little things. Oh, I want some ice cream. What you gonna do? Your butt gonna be going down to the ice cream store. About 30 minutes later, going to get some ice cream because thoughts create thoughts, emotions, and we plant those thoughts and they're gonna come up. We water, we invest in them, they're gonna come up, so
My book gonna be all filled up with your quotes. You dropping right. Rachel ain't
yeah.
quite those are those are
we
the frequency of heaven. Wow.
Mhm. It is.
I
And
mean
when
those
again we're
uh,
conscious of it,
I mean the
when you
currency of heaven. Thank you, Rachel.
yeah,
I
yeah,
wrote
the
currency.
thoughts of the
I said
currency of heaven. When you think back on your life, you'll start to realize how true that is.
mm-hmm.
When you went somewhere and you thought, "Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not that," the situation probably proved you right. When you went somewhere and you said, "Oh, I'm the boss, I'm the this, I'm the this," like you say, oh, what did you say on your article from Hoochie?
Oh.
Was
From
it the
mama.
boss bitch? Yeah. Okay. You're gonna start seeing that. Your
Mm-hmm.
the things you see on your walk and the experience you have on your walk, they're not happenstance. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not happenstance. You influence your rise to that point.
That is
You
so true.
know why? Because we are goddesses. We are gods and we are goddesses. And again, people, it's so funny how we do things. But growing up, when I was growing up, the Bible was everything, and these things were already there. But people just washed over them because, again, they needed God to be out there, and we down here, little nothings. We can't do anything. But it says, "Know you not that you are gods." And children of the Most High God. Okay, so that has to mean something.
Mm-hmm.
We are part of co-creating our experience here.
Mm.
We are spirit operating in this realm in a body. So my thing with true self is we got to tap into that spirit. It's already there and it's happening whether you know it's happening or not. And again, you look back over your life, there's so many proofs of that doing it and you weren't aware of it. But
Mm.
now I'm saying let's be aware of it and let's concoct and create those things that we want to experience. And even if it doesn't turn out exactly how we want, our feelings about it are much better, I feel. My feelings about it are much better. Okay, I thought this, I did this, I tried it. Maybe it didn't land like I like, but I learned something. It still elevates me. I don't get down about it, It's not depressing me. I'm still, doing it in control,
You
with
see, you see what Black Glass just said? He said the Hoop Eries channeling. Listen, you listen to Black women with hoop earrings.
exactly. Exactly.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, that is funny. What finally
But
my brother so
you're on
everything.
the road today, Miss Dana. I'm like, ooh,
I know. And look at Black Glass is quoting things.
no, it
Absolutely.
was.
Absolutely all of you. And I think the energy happens with flow and these type of things with you, Jackie, because I think everybody we're on the kind of the same page. We got some of the same vibes,
Mm.
and those vibes coming together are kind of exploding things. It's pushing things. It's energy that's expanding
Yeah.
because we're coming
It's something
together.
in real time. And the more that
Yeah,
we have these conversations and the more that we are showing up as our true self, I mean, that's the whole goal, right?
it
If you think
is.
about that ladder, we're not having to come too far down the ladder to have to be in community with each other. So we're all vibrating at this high frequency.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff's bound to
Yeah, it's
off.
bound to jump off. And you're bound to leave here getting ready to do things and being the boss bitch, or I don't know what do you call guys who boss bitches?
I
Dogs.
don't know.
I don't
Are
know.
they? Are they? Are
Uh, they- they-
they? Do they elevate? I don't know. I have to think about that. Or the ballers. That's what I call them.
Okay, the ballers. Okay, yeah,
The
yeah,
ballers.
yeah. We're not mad at them. We need the brothers to be ballers, with spirit, right? With spirit, which means they're
Right.
gonna honor the divine feminine. They're gonna bow at the bow of feminine because without her,
Yeah, I don't know where we got this idea that it's switched. But
yeah.
I think that that's something that I'm seeing a lot of Black women stepping into, which I'm loving. I
Mhm.
wasn't I was actually expecting some pushback with that essay. So I was actually happy of how many people are like, "Oh my God, you said it." And I'm like, "Yes, we're taking our power back."
Yes, we have to. We have to take that
Yeah.
power back. And my essay that's dropping tomorrow is about trusting ourselves because clearly systems that we're in fail us. They do not exist for us and they take away from us. Particularly, healthcare is a big one where so much of what we experience in our bodies, in our health, does not fit the profile of the default white measurements that we're up against. So when we step in the door, we're automatically discounted. And
Mhm.
whatever we say, even unfortunately to doctors who look like us, because, they get their training from that system. So
Yeah,
when
right.
we come in, the cookie cutter, oh, this, that, totally discounted. But this is where boss bitchness has to be like the bossest bitches ever for you to own and advocate for your own health. We're not like them.
Mhm.
So we got to say, we are us. Here's how I'm going to go into this, trusting myself to tell you, the doctor who I'm paying through my insurance, what we going to do about this.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, as you're saying that, it's making me think about what you had nope, train confirmed.
Yeah.
Making me think about what you said for chapter 17, prepare for war in time of peace. Um,
Exactly.
that's like this prep stage that we're in. This is
hmm
essentially what this chapter is talking about, right?
It is. It is. And it's exactly a good example because now when we are, feeling good and learning things, it's when we need to know ourselves. Learn me. We should know ourselves better than anyone else. We should be able to love ourselves better than anyone else.
Mhm.
That doesn't negate having a partner or anything like that. But we have to do it for ourselves so that when we face a health issue or when we face a financial issue or when anything come to challenge us, we are aware and have information of what I do next and
Mhm.
who can help me. We need team Jackies and team Fays. So I know who to call on when I come to a certain situation and I vetted that person. We don't want to pour. I know I can call that person and I can trust that person to know me and we're going to go tackle this thing, whatever it is. That is preparing for war in the time of peace.
Mm.
Don't wait for war to show up and then you're trying to figure out what do I do? And we're going to be careful, like we were talking about earlier, not to think on war. That's not the purpose of that chapter. We're not thinking on war. We're not trying to bring war into our doorstep. But life be lifing.
Mhm.
47s are in the White House and in the UK house and in, Russian house and all that. And the crazy shit they do have some ripple effects. And if any gets close to us, we want to know beforehand what we're going to do.
Mhm.
A lot of times we were talking about Black women sitting on the sidelines, after the 2020 election. Okay, yeah, yeah, that felt right. But we can't just sit there and do nothing. We sit there preparing for war in the time of peace. We step out, gonna let y'all have it. We believing this is not gonna drop too heavy on my door. We see that it is with the TSA agents. Some of those look like us, the craziness going on. But again, those are opportunities for us to prepare for war in
Mhm.
the time of peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's literally verse 13. Peace then is not merely a pause between troubles. Peace is preparation. Use it well. And I just think that that right there is the perfect way to sum that up, because one thing that I think about too is whenever I was just talking with Sean about this, I have started noticing a pattern with just my natural flow and rhythm. So there's the time where I'm resting, there's the time where I'm paused, there's a time where I'm grinding, and then there's
Mhm.
a period where I'm launching, right? And
Mhm.
so in that period of pause, that pause week that I'm in is always
Mhm.
so important for me, because that
Mhm.
pause week is where I get to really integrate everything. So all the ideas, all of the work that I've done, the grinding, everything is integrated. And so by the time
Mhm.
I step out of that pause phase, I'm ready to hit the ground running. And that's
Mhm.
the launch phase. And so I kind of go
Mhm.
through this on a weekly basis throughout the month. And I'm starting to notice it and kind of make note of it. But this, when I read that peace is sacred preparation, that is like it right there. That
Yes.
integration, that raising your frequency, that elevating to the next level, so that way you can be prepared for what's to come. So
Mhm.
I think about with this administration and everything that's been happening, and how Black women have essentially been the target.
Mhm.
Whenever we are always like, we're used to being the target, but what happens
Mhm.
is in this period of rest that everybody's been taking, we've been
Mhm.
building, we've
Yes.
been creating, we've
Yes.
been in our power, we've been
Yes.
in that sacred preparation phase
Yes.
in
Yes.
peace, because we've what? Chose
Yeah.
that it's time
Yes.
for us to be peaceful, be to protect ourselves, not
Mhm.
to protect anybody else, not to help anybody else, but this is something that we're doing for ourselves. So I see
Mhm.
now why you wanted chapter 17 and 37 to be the focus, because
Yes.
we are essentially where we are, where a lot of Black women are right now.
It is, and I feel that in these conversations, this one, the flow hour and everything, that we are doing this, our coming together, having these discussions, iron sharpening irons, getting some clarity, uh, weeding out some things that don't fit is part of that sacred preparation for
Mhm.
what's next and for returning to our roots, returning to who we are, because so much of ourselves were sold into the European view of things, the American dream, things that other people's ideas of who we are and who we're supposed to be. So,
Mhm.
in this preparation, I think we're also returning to our nature of nature,
Mhm.
our nature to be naturalists, right? Just like our ancestral mothers could go out into the field and get, these things to heal our bodies or to rest or to hug a tree or get your feet out or play in the dirt or do things that are part of our ancestry, a part of our amazing history of being in the earth and being able to show up anywhere and everywhere and to be able to survive these horrendous things because of our connection to the earth, to the universe, to spirit, to things that other people discount, may not even see that we can see. We got to go back to those things, honor those things, nurture those things, cultivate those things that are part of our being
Mhm.
is part of it. And I'm glad you mentioned about your rhythm and your pause, because some of us looking at Jackie from the outside might think, when the heck does she ever sleep?
Somebody said that to me earlier. You slept, and I'm like, I did.
She got this coming out, that coming out, doing this. But I appreciate it because we can get the wrong impression
Hmm.
of what's happening with you by your output and your interaction. But it's valuable for me at least to know that a lot of this come from your pause. It comes from your um sacred preparation. Come
Hmm.
from your sitting with yourself, your inner self, that you step away, unplug, then you come back hard. That's got to be a nature of boss bitch to do
It's
that type of thing.
it's got to. And one thing that I will say that I learned, because I've been in entrepreneurship for about 10 years, 6
Mhm.
years with like no 9 to 5 backing. And one thing that I've always realized is when you put something out and you're in an energy of desperation, people are going to feel that. So
Yeah.
if I'm putting something out that is something that I'm nervous about or something that I've been sitting with, I will
Mhm.
sit with it until spirit will literally push me into it. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I have to do this.
Mhm.
I thought it was just gonna go to the next person. And it's like certain things will circle back to me, and then that's
Mhm.
when I'll take the lead on it. And
Mhm.
then also another big part of it is also knowing when something didn't work and being
Yeah.
okay with it. And
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times people take that as failure, but
Mhm.
take it as data because it's like, oh, okay, well, why didn't it work? What
Mhm.
energy was I in? How did I market it? How did I
Mhm.
share this with the community? Um,
Mhm.
was it something that just it's not time? Is it
Mhm.
something that I need to wait a little bit longer? So, I
Mhm.
take everything as data,
Mhm.
but the reason that I started entering, and there's a difference between rest and pause.
Mhm.
My rest period In my rest period, I can still kind of do some things and work on whatever project it is. But
Mhm.
my pause period, that's when it's nothing. I'm not
Mhm.
touching it. I'm not working on it. I'm showing
Mhm.
up low hour. I'm showing up for fellowship. I don't have no meetings on my calendar. I'm just getting me back together. There's
Mhm.
no out that I'm
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think that people kind of mistake the two,
Mhm.
and they think that rest means pause, and
Mhm.
not always mean pause. Rest just means
Right.
like you can rest your mind, you can do something
Mhm.
else.
Do something.
Usually during my rest period, that's when I find that I want to work on the magazine, and I'm
Mm.
to do that because I'm using my hands. I'm not having to use my mind as much. You know,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
so that's when
Which
the creative
the creative part. Yeah. Yeah.
comes into play.
Which bucket is the twerking?
The twerking, that's my rejuvenation.
Yes,
Okay.
you're rejoicing.
Yes. That is that it's so funny because I used to be a twerker, okay? I grew up with back that ass up. So that's always been a part of my culture, like my
Mhm. Mhm.
and it wasn't until recently where I said, your problem is you really not twerking no more. Like and
Mhm.
for a long time, I think it was because I was married. It's like, when do I have it? And that just goes to show I married the wrong person.
Yeah.
But it's like I didn't have space to do that.
To do
Um,
that. To do that.
so
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wait, I live by myself again. It's just me and the baby. I close the door and play some music, and everybody keeps making these playlists. And so it's bringing me back to all these days. So
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, and I know this is a little off topic, but, twerking is an ancestral form for us too.
Yes.
That in Africa and, Caribbean countries and everything,
And
their
so
dance has a, form what we now call twerking, or in the US, they call it twerking, but they always dance with their body parts. In Ethiopia, they use their shoulders a
mhm.
whole lot, about it. So in Trinidad, oh, that butt is working. So
Right. And I think about the carnivals,
yeah.
that's like the prime example to show that this isn't something we should be shameful about.
Right, 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 right. Yeah. And going back to kind of what you were saying about your pauses, I think it's very important when you said the difference between rest and pausing, that we can stop things and it mimics, or in doing that, we're mimicking the universe with the seasons changing, with the
Mm,
leaves shedding. Um, you know, in religious context, the rest days, the fasting days, you know,
yeah.
those are part of our nature, our even our physical bodies, and definitely our spirituality. That's nature.
You said that in verse 1 of chapter 17, scripture and history both teach us that life moves in seasons.
Mhm. It
That is,
does.
I
The
mean,
thing
the nail
yeah,
on the head.
yeah, the things we say we stand on,
Mhm.
but as Burnett say, "Talk is cheap." You can say it all day long, but
Right.
what do you do? People say a lot of things about Bible and scripture and all these things, and then go do the very opposite
Opposite
of it.
every
Yeah,
time. Every
opposite of it. Yeah, every time. So my trust piece tomorrow kind of talks about that too, in our learning how to be trustworthy of self. It has to be a practice. It has to be discipline. It's got to be structure
Mhm.
around your trust in yourself so you can move like that. And I see that when you do pivot in midair. I think with the daily readings, you switch it to weekly. And something else happened and you say, "Okay, y'all not ready for that. I'm switching."
Right.
Right? That comes from that structure. And that comes from having a high trust of self.
Mhm.
And it's a evolution thing, but these days, these times, it's something we should be intentional about being, right? I'll tell people now, I don't trust you. I'm gonna trust the God in you if I can. I'm
Mhm.
try, can't trust this system. I'm gonna trust my God to tell me how to move through these systems.
Exactly.
I'm gonna trust me.
Rachel just quoted chapter 3, verse 7. When you rush, you skim the surface of life. Ooh, that was good.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Burnett, my dad was big on that. Haste makes waste. He did not like for people to just be in a hurry to do things.
Mhm.
Because he was like, what's it for? Why are you in a hurry? What are you doing? So he was
I
quick
think,
to slow us down.
yeah, I think that's why that chapter resonated so much with me. I remember that's the chapter I got the most highlights and quotes from, because that is something that I had to learn kind of the hard way, but
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I value now that I've
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because I'll sit back and I'll watch people, and usually if they move too fast, I'm not really gonna have them in my circle. It,
Mm-hmm.
the- you can't slow down and enjoy life. I like to slow down. I like to have enough time to where I can slow down and take some pictures and talk to the birds, or if the butterfly want to run around, then I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that moment and not rush through it, because that's the only reason why I'm able to see nature the way that I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That
because
you
I
slow
slow
down.
down. The people that are also there, it's not just me. People are
Mm-hmm.
around, but they're rushing through, trying to
Right.
trying to get to nowhere.
Right. 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 Getting
And
nowhere
I
fast.
catch up with them by the time they get
Exactly.
the train. And then I'm just walking and the train passes by and we still walking together. And I'm looking
Right.
like, you could
R
have just stopped and
just
enjoyed
stop. That's a funny thing about it, and I remember my grandmother, great-grandmother, elders, they did not rush.
No.
It was frustrating to me as a young person, like, "Can you move faster? Can you just" They were not even caring about what I said. They took their time and they showed up in a way that Russian can't.
Exactly.
Yeah, they showed up calm, confident, ready that Russian can't.
I have a
Denise,
I know.
like the people rushing to get to the red light. That's so
Um
funny.
okay, so I want to ask everybody in the chat something that if you read the book or not, you can still answer. So I want to know from y'all because we're gonna wrap up. Netta has a live for her paid subscribers today. So we're going to wrap up here in these next few minutes. So what lesson from your own family would you preserve in a book like this? Um,
Mm,
that's something that I want to know because I just think that the concept of your book
mm-hmm,
and the mission of Blackstack is just the perfect
mm-hmm,
parallel. You know,
mm-hmm.
they just merge so beautifully.
Thank you.
And if people can get an idea of what it means to preserve our story and ways to do it, you just opened yourself up to be a channel to let your
Mm,
dad's voice flow through you. You know,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
what does that look like for us? So I'm
mm-hmm,
curious to know, and y'all can put it in the chat. Um, if y'all think y'all need to journal through it, let me know. But I'm curious, what are some lessons from your own family that you would preserve in a book like this?
that's rich. Yeah, and when we can pause and slow down to think about it, there are many,
So many.
so many of it, and we can learn from those we hmm?
You got 42 chapters out of it.
And you know what? I woke up this morning with this one on my mind that didn't make it to 42. My dad would say, "Hold your hope." And the
Mm.
way he said it, it came out funny, like, hold your hope," really quickly, but meaning to stay the course. Stay focused on what you wanna achieve. Be unswayed by things that come. Hold to your hope. I guess, Reverend Jesse Jackson would say, "Keep hope alive."
Mhm.
Maybe his version of it. But, and I knew that was for me in how I want, the Book of Burnett to show up in the world. And I think it was telling me to be at peace about where it is and the progress that it will make, winding through the world. Don't
Mm.
be in a hurry, hold your hope. And that was a beautiful one. And I think it became apropos to another Substacker who was writing about her book being banned from a UK library,
Oh, wow.
because of, all the craziness that mainstreamers don't want to see or hear, of, controversy. What they call controversy. And I shared that with her to hold your
Mhm.
hope. It came from me, but maybe it's for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there are a lot of things in our history. Some we might deem positive or negative, but we can learn. There are lessons in all of them.
I will say for that hold your hope piece with when thinking about from a author's perspective, you just publishing your book, getting it on the ground. I think about when I met with the editor at that $25 million publishing house and how he said that, Jackie, you got it figured out because this publishing game, the book launches are 18 months now. And a lot of authors don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Something about that just really landed with me because I'm like, I think about a baby, you know, at 18 months, that baby's just now starting to walk. Baby
Mm-hmm.
might not be fully potty trained yet.
Mm-hmm.
That baby's just getting on regular food. That baby
Mm-hmm.
still needs you and
Mm-hmm.
it still needs a lot of nurture.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to hold that hope as an author because
Yes.
society will make you feel like your book didn't perform.
Yes.
But in reality, you just got to keep nurturing it because it ain't grown up yet.
Yes, yes, yes. Perfect, perfect. And Spirit had me to look up um The Alchemist, Paulo
Hmm.
Coelho's book, The Alchemist, and how the beginnings that it had years before it kind of became more known. So again, we can't trip ourselves up with what we see
Hmm.
from either our own performance and comparing that to someone else's, because most of them start that. I mean, they all start out that way. Most of them, very few jump off, and blow up right quickly.
Exactly.
Books and our writing things, and it reminds me of another biblical scripture: "Don't despise the day of small beginnings, because a seed is small."
Hmm.
To a mighty sequoia tree, that seed is teeny tiny.
Yeah.
But in the fullness of time, that bud will come and that tree will grow. And that's just a message I had to say to myself yesterday and into this morning. And maybe that helped conjure up. Dad Sarley saw me like, "Hey, chill out, girl. Hold your hope.
Yeah.
Don't get dissuaded by whatever you might see. Keep going.
Hmm.
Keep going."
Yeah. And I think too, to Rachel's point, a lot of books that are going to actually help people, it takes people a while to pick that up. Uh,
Yes.
and another thing that I've noticed with books recently is
Mhm.
think about how the reader is operating right now. Everybody's reading all of Toni Morrison's old books. Everybody's
Mhm.
Bill Hook's old books. Like we're
Mhm.
nobody's reading anything new. Uh,
Mhm.
us getting lost in some fictional world. But for
Mhm.
the most part, to like really impact your frame of your way of thinking, your perspective, to really elevate you in a way. I wonder
Mhm.
why it takes a reader a little bit longer to sit with that. Uh,
Yes.
and now I'm asking questions that I'm about to go and do some kid.
Yeah, yeah. I think you have a good point. I think there's a similar story with Chicken Soup for the Soul. It
Yeah.
became phenomenal, but it took a long time for it to get there. And I think part of it is the reader consumption, as you said, because so many of us, so many people, readers in the world, have been lulled into outsourcing our self help, outsourcing our growth. We want it quick, fast, in a hurry. We want somebody to just give us a pill, give us a shot, and it automatically, we're
Those
done.
good
Yeah.
feelings. We
Yeah.
want those dopamine hits.
Dopamine hits. Yeah. When it comes to that.
Man, that's such a good point, Netta. That is
Hmm.
happens. Um, I think about that channel that I had got in Flow Hour one day when I was saying how I could see us moving into a place where heal people aren't going to be seeking healers to heal them anymore. People are going to be learning how to heal themselves, and that's where
Hmm.
these books come into
Yes.
play because the wisdom is here. The thing
Yes.
that your dad said, I'm sure that there's many of those quotes that some of us have also heard growing up to
Sure.
a
Yeah.
degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
wording might been a
Yeah.
little bit different, but
The messaging
the
is the
messaging is
same.
gonna keep living.
Hmm.
And I think hearing it a couple of different ways. That's why I come
Hmm.
to the Four Agreements.
Hmm.
This is one of those books where the wisdom just lives with you,
Yes.
and you can
Yes.
just keep coming back to it and keep coming back to it. And I think that for me, I'm stepping into a place where those are the type of books I enjoy reading. Give me something
Yes.
that's going to, we talk about creating over consuming and what we're consuming. Let me consume some positive, affirming things within my subconscious. Um,
Absolutely.
Because that's, like you
Absolutely.
said, that's that preparation that takes
Mhm.
us into no, you say you influence your rise.
Yes.
I got your quotes everywhere now.
Okay. Yeah. But exactly, it's not happenstance. These things aren't happenstance. So it's important that we are intentional about what we diet on
Mm,
and what we feed within ourselves,
that was a
because
good.
those are the things that's what's gonna uh, grow. You know,
Mhm.
those are the things that we're gonna start to see in our future. But there are so many people, I know you know many, I know many, everybody in here know many that do not want accountability. And that sowing and reaping, those type that consciousness, what comes with that is accountability. That no one did it to you, you're doing it to yourself. But people don't want to hear that. They
Yeah.
don't want that, you know. So that's why in a lot of genres, the self-help books may be slow to come versus the romance, where people want to jump, they want to step in somebody else's world to experience that romance. So that means I don't have to do the work myself. I don't have to conjure it myself. I'm just going to jump over there and get it. So a lot of times it's easier, it's more fun, it's more rewarding to us to jump into those books because there's no personal accountability attached to them.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Imma go and read some of these, some
Okay.
life things, life's, nuggets. I'm gonna call
Yes.
it nuggets. So, my mama always used to say to me, because I get trapped in my thoughts a lot, "Stop contemplating your life and go live it."
Mm, that's good.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Mhm.
I would definitely tell the stories of my grandmothers, one from Trinidad, one from Germany. Um,
Uh-oh.
both are very different, but both nurtured me.
Mm,
Trust your brilliance. You are skilled at what you do, and you can't always trust people to respect and honor that, but you can embrace and
mhm,
invest in you. That's a really good one.
mhm,
Um, let's see. My grandmother was consistently looking for opportunities to uplift other Black women regardless of income or education, and I wanna carry that forward. I love that.
that's beautiful. Mhm.
Right. Okay. Somebody KJ said, "I'm rereading Octavia Butler like she just came out." See? Everybody's
Mhm,
going and reading, and I love it. I do. I truly do love it, but
mhm,
I just, it's something that I've been noticing.
mm,
As we
interesting.
wrap up, do you, because I know we gotta go ahead and hit a hard pause.
Oh.
There it's okay. Is there anything that you want everybody to kind of carry with them, either from True Self, the Book of Burnett? What is something that you want everybody to carry with them going into April and this new
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I really want you to carry with you the notion of your learning, loving, and living your true self, starting with the divine you. What are you thinking about divinity? Where does that relate to how you see yourself right now? And then, whatever the answer to that is, how is that influencing your daily decisions? You know,
Mm.
what are you digesting nutritionally? What are you digesting in a literary standpoint? What are you digesting, and how is that causing you to show up,
Ooh.
in your life? And so, the kind of the Book of Burnett, I'm calling it like the text of True Self Society, well, at least a key text of True Self Society, because it does connect that accountability with the divinity.
Mhm.
These are not just one-off things. Just because you're divine, you can't, you're not willy-nilly. That means something in
Mhm.
terms of how you think, how you act, how you behave. And the Book of Burnett is a guide for that,
Ooh.
for your doing that. So you are divine, you are God, you are goddess. So
Mhm.
let that work for you.
Yeah, seriously, and I'm telling y'all it works. You just gotta Like if y'all ain't seen it and happen in my life, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't tell you. But what I'm gonna do, Netta, I want to publish this replay. I want to do this on the last day of the month instead of posting
Okay.
it today. I
Okay.
write some stuff. I want to
Okay.
let your piece tomorrow post so I can add.
Okay. Okay.
I want to kind of like really make it land. And I also am going to put a poll in there. So I want y'all to give us some feedback in the poll, um, just to help a Black author so we can learn how to get this book into as many Black households as possible, for sure, over these next
Absolutely.
18 months. So this is the of
Absolutely.
the book club to help Black authors be able to have successful launches. And the launch is
Mhm.
not just the first 30 days of the book coming out.
Mhm.
The launch is
Absolutely.
for 18
Absolutely.
months.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's still an infant. She-
Yes.
she's still on the breast.
We still got a lot of life.
A
A
lot
lot
of things to do.
of
But I do want to thank you, Jackie. I want to thank Blackstack Book Club. I want to thank each and every one of you who showed up and participated in these conversations. Those of you who bought the book, my words cannot express it. I'm just overflowing with gratitude, and I know that I'll get an opportunity to pay it forward for the next one.
Yeah.
Because that's what we doing as God and goddesses in community. That's what we doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Ooh,
So
I love
thank you.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Have a great day. Have a wonderful Saturday.
You too, and I will see y'all tomorrow for the writing salon. So I'll be back.
Awesome.
I'll be back starting this time tomorrow. So I love y'all. Y'all
Love
have
you.
a good day.
Bye.
Have a good one, Netta.
Bye.